Right. Welcome everyone to Rise and Shine with Morning Moon. My name is Coach Lacy, and if you have just found me, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ding that bell so that you go live. You can be notified every time that we go live with updates. If you have found me somewhere else, make sure to follow me so that you can keep track with everything that we're doing here at Morning Moon. Once again, my name is Coach Lacy. Welcome to Rise and Shine, and today we're getting real and down to the nitty-gritty because that's what we do here is we talk about all those deep, dark, and heavy things that you need to lift off of your soul so that you can become the best version of yourself, so that you can live the life that you love. Seek out your calling and follow that divine design because there's a calling on your life, whether you believe it or not. So today I am on day 3 of being completely sober. And this is a really vulnerable topic for me because I've been running for myself for quite a long time. And in all honesty, I'm going to be real with you as always. I am absolutely a lot more clear mentally. But I still have my cravings and I find myself circling the store a few times but I've stopped myself. But I still have the cravings. They're still here. And the number one thing that I'm noticing that is coming up for me is emotions. And I think that's why I've been numbing for so long, because I have some really deep-seated grief. If you are new to me, I would encourage you to watch some of my previous videos from the past, watch my story. I've had a lot of grief, a lot of addiction, and a lot of trauma and drama in my life. And I've had basically a whole lifetime accumulation of stories and events that have, like everyone, shaped who I am. And back in 2017, my brother took his own life after he beat stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma, which is cancer of your muscles. And it was just a very tragic story. And he was my youngest brother. I was 15 years old when he was born, so he was like kind of like a kid, a child to me. And that has been a long journey. And so today um I found myself back in that grief pit, and it's rising to the surface, and it's really calling for me to stop running and face it. And I've been running for quite a long time when it comes to the compounded grief that I have experienced, because I haven't just lost my brother, but I've had multiple losses of really close people to me, from traumatic and dramatic events. And lately, today especially, I've had some grief well up to the surface. There's been a lot coming up in my mind and in my heart, and God's been calling me to stop running. And when you numb yourself out, things get pushed down, and it actually doesn't make the pain disappear. It just keeps stacking up until one day it just breaks through and comes through the floodgates. And today it came through in the most unexpected moments. And if you have been following along and watching my videos, you do know that I've had moments where I'll be standing in a grocery store and a song will come on and I will just break down because it will remind me of my grandma or my uncle or my aunt or my brother, or multiple friends that I have lost in my life. And today, same thing happened. It has been 8 years since my brother took his life, and I need to pause before I even say that because here I am again. Um, and with this recent situation with Wenatchee, with Whitney Decker and the Decker girls, that has been on my heart every single day. And um, the grief that that mama feels, I just can't even imagine, because the grief that I'm feeling, from the multiple losses that I've had, I don't feel like that could even touch what that gal is feeling. So Whitney, if you're watching, you are loved. There is a divine design and a calling on your life. And if you feel like giving up, I encourage you to just keep going because there's so much more to your story. But today I was volunteering at Alethea, the horse riding center for the disabled, and veterans. We have the Warriors and Horses. I'm a volunteer out there. I do participate in the Igala equine therapy. I've just been a big part in the last 3 years. Alethea has been a big part of my family's life, and it has really been very um, helpful. But today I was on a new lesson, and I've met this writer before, and I actually took a break last quarter from this hour because of this situation. I remembered today that that was why, because this writer just reminds me of my brother when he was a young boy, and I spent a lot of time caring for him and babysitting and helping him just develop as a human during that time when he was like 6 to 10. Um, Mm. And this little boy, he was really, my little brother was very interested in Pokemon, loved Pokemon and Nintendo and Super Mario and all of those things. And so I asked this little boy what his favorite animal was, and he said Bowser. And he said it in the same tone of voice that my little brother used to have, because my brother had he was on the spectrum. And so he would Bowser, Bowser. And the way this boy said it is that the tone just hit the right chord. And then he started talking about Pokemon because the other writers had Pikachu sweaters on. And I found myself in the middle of the lesson with tears running down my face, and I couldn't stop. And I had to put my sunglasses on and just kind of keep it together. And it's been 8 years. It has been 8 years. But that moment, in that moment, when I heard that tone of voice, that certain pitch, and it just hit me the right way, oh man, it just took me back. And it was just like 8 years is happening all over again, and 8 years since that moment flipped my family's world upside down. My father and my siblings and my stepmother and her family just flipped our world upside down, and some of them don't like to talk about it. My brother, the twin of Hunter, never talks about it, and I'm the vocal one of the family, and so I'm always talking about it, and I don't know that they really appreciate that about me, but it's my way that I process. And in that moment of grief where I'm trying to keep it together in this lesson and have a good lesson for these children, because they don't need to be dealing with my whatever weight I'm carrying. I realized that grief just never leaves you, never goes away. It might soften up a bit, it might be a little bit more malleable, but it sticks with you for sure. It stays. It's like a little sting in your heart. Like a little sting in your heart, like a little shadow of the love that you carried for this person running around you. Whew. And it's what we do in those moments of grief and with that grief that makes the difference. And that's what sets us apart, right? And I've been on both sides of the coin for this. I have been in deep, deep, dark places, um, inebriated out of my skull. I there was a time where I was popping pills and smoking dabs and drinking and um, being completely checked out, and not anchoring into anything except for my food and my water and exercise. That has been, if there's been one thing in my adult life that I am proud of, it is my ability to stay um, healthy, relatively healthy, when it comes to my food and my water and my exercise throughout um, the seasons. Whatever season I was in, I was always making sure to eat well. I was always making sure to hydrate and move my body. And so those things kept me sane. I mean, I don't know that I would be alive right now if it wasn't for anchoring in that process I share with all of you, and the love of my husband and the love of my family. I actually did try to commit suicide a few years back, and it failed miserably. And I flipped my own Jeep, and it wasn't my proudest moment, but I did try to take my own life, and God said no. So here I am, And I've been on it. I've been on that side. I've been on the dark side. I've walked in the valley of the shadow of death, and I've danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. And I've almost not come back, right? I have spiraled, I've numbed out, I've disappeared inside of bottles and joints and pills, or you name it. Um, I've been there, and I have clawed my way back out. One bite, one breath, one step at a time, as one of my old mentors used to say, Dr. Allegra Roy, formerly Dr. Allegra Hart. She used to say that all the time. One bite, one breath, one step at a time. How do you want to show up in the world? And she would say that all the time. And I had to keep that with me because I was working for her right after my brother had took his life, and she was a pivotal, and I was working with her when I flipped my Jeep as well. And so she was a very pivotal person in my healing. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but when I look back, it was her process of keeping keeping anchored, just keeping anchored and staying the course and keeping healthy. And so, Allegra, if you're watching this, I highly doubt you are, but if you are, thank you. You you gave me you gave me the tools that I needed to keep going. And I had those tools before, but you put it in a way that I was able to understand it in the moment where my brain wasn't fully taking everything in properly. Because when you're in grief, you just get stuck. Sometimes you get stuck in these ruts and it's really hard to get out. And you just stay parked, like Les Brown says. After my brother died, I watched a lot of Les Brown, and that also really helped me. Les Brown talks about staying parked and getting out of that mode of just staying parked and actually just living your life and keeping going, right? And staying stuck, it feels good and it's comfortable, but and it feels like you're safe, right? But it doesn't make you stronger. It really doesn't make you stronger. It's doing the things that we resist that makes us stronger. And getting real with ourselves and being honest in our hearts and our minds and our spirit about what it is we are meant to do in this life. Like, what is the calling on your life, and what are you feeling right now, and how are those emotions affecting you, and how are you storing them in your body, and how are they affecting your health, and how are they showing up, you know? So I've had to get really real lately about my progress and my pride, and the ways that I have been pretending and handling my grief and my pain. And God really got on me. God was really speaking to my heart and saying, girlfriend, if you want to be successful, if you want all of these things, X, Y, and Z, you are going to have to step it up a bit. And you're going to have to take a look at yourself and stop numbing that pain. We got to feel it. We got to feel it. It is time. It is time. You know, it's time to stop surviving and start living again. Stop this like living moment to moment, just like keeping my head up above the water. Start to start swimming. Like I've been treading water for so long. It is really time for me to swim and make progress towards the shore. And that's hard, right? To quit using cope as a cover. And then for me to stay to claim the calling on my life. Because if I don't, then that spiral, it will swallow me whole. It will swallow me whole, and I will be lost to the sea of numbing out, and then I'll be living in regret of what I could have been had I just had the strength to power through those moments and see who I could be without all those substances. None of us are meant to be lost at sea, and for me, I'm meant to be a leader. My mom is a leader. My grandpa's a leader. I come from a long line of leaders. I am a daughter of Geronimo. I am a daughter of, the revolution, the American Revolution. I literally my lineage is called to lead. Like I have in my lineage, I've got ties to Geronimo. I've got ties to Stonewall Jackson, David Alla Jackson, John and Priscilla Alden. Like these are people that were leaders in history. And I am meant to lead. I am meant to carry that torch and give it off to others and give it off to my daughter and teach her how to leave. She might not be my biological daughter, but I am teaching her how to show up in the world one day at a time. We had a teaching moment today, like one day at a time. Sometimes you have to take a step back and take care of yourself and so that you can recalibrate and come back even stronger. And I had to teach that to her today, just a little tiny lesson. And I'm teaching it to me, right? So what I'm holding on for myself today and for you is for those of you who are struggling, if you're watching this and you're just in it deep and you're like, I am having a hard time. I get you. I feel that. And I'm here to say it's all one day at a time, one moment at a time. Like Dr. Allegra said, one bite, one breath, one step at a time, one anchor at a time, one decision at a time. That is all you have to focus on. If you are drowning, you just focus on swimming. You stop treading. You gotta swim. And if you don't know how, just start moving and you'll get it. You'll get it, right? So when life gets hard, and it will, you bet it will get hard. Anchor back in. Anchor back in. We talk about that every single day I pop up here. I tell you to anchor in. What is anchoring in? We control our controllables. What are your controllables? Your food, your water, your movement, what input you are putting into your mind and your body and your spirit, what output you are giving out into the world, how you show up in the world. Those are the only things you can control. You can't control what happens. You can't control the weather. You can't control people dying. You can't control how people treat you. But you can control how you show up in the world and how you deal with your emotions and how you deal with your grief and your pain and your anger. That is the only thing you can control. And I am speaking to you from a place of deep, deep experience. There's a divine design and a calling on your life. These are things that I'm just going to keep repeating, guys. There's something so much more and something bigger than us, so much bigger than ourselves. We are not meant to worship at the altar of self. We did not create ourselves. I saw a post on Facebook that just blew me away. It said, "What if we were meant to worship ourselves?" How on earth are you expected to make it through any sort of hardship on your own? Wouldn't you rather have that divine hand to help pull you up out of the muck when you are stuck? Why on earth would you pass that up? There is a divine design. And you are not the author, but you are the storyteller. So how are you going to tell your story? It's up to you. And it's all by choices, and choices create new realities. There are infinite possibilities. It's arguable that there's infinite worlds out there with those possibilities. But which possibility are you going to be conscious in right now so that you can live that calling and so that you can follow that divine design and maybe get to the next level when we're dead and gone here? Because what we do now in this life, it matters. It really, 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 really matters. And I don't want any of you, if you're watching, to think, "Oh, I don't matter. I'm just a cashier. I'm just a coffee maker. I'm just what?" Your job is not your destiny. All of us have a calling. All of us have something to teach someone. And if we don't answer the call and say, "Hello, what's the calling on our life?" How how will we know? If we don't answer the phone, how will we know what the opportunity is? So surrender. You're not expected to pull yourself up out of the clay yourself. That, that's not what it is about. God has never walked away. Even in even when it gets hard and even when I feel like I'm alone and I feel like things aren't working out for me financially, in my relationships, in my life. I feel behind. I'm 39, I'm almost 40 years old. I've yet to have my own bio child. I don't even know if I will. That hurts so deeply, so, so deeply. And knowing that I've had a medical condition that I have been contributing to because I am doing these substance abuse that have has contributed to my infertility, that gives me some deep, deep guilt. I don't own my own house. I don't have super fancy cars. I got nice vehicles, but I don't have super fancy anything. I'm just a normal girl. I'm just a normal woman living in this world. Like, I'm a normal person. But that doesn't mean that I don't have a divine design and a calling on my life. You don't have to be rich or famous or whatever for people to learn something from you and for you to glean that wisdom into someone's heart that could change their life. It's a lie if you were to ever think that you have to be something, someone famous or rich or whatever to touch other lives. And it's also a lie to think that God has ever left you. Because even in the deepest, darkest moment, even if you are like, lost everything, like our poor friend here in Wenatchee, Mama, my heart, it goes out to you so much. Every day, I literally think of the Decker situation, probably like I'd say 100 times, like so many times a day. I don't even know. I'm always thinking in the back of my mind about that situation because I couldn't even fathom the pain that that gal is in. But God has never left us, even if it feels like it. Even if you've lost absolutely everything, even if you are just war torn, battled, and bruised, God has never left you. Your story has been written. You're just telling it. And it might not be the story you wanted. Trust me. My story is not the story I wanted or that I bargained for. Definitely not where I thought I would be. But it's still a beautiful story and it still has impact on someone's life. If I just touch one person just by doing these videos, that's all that matters to me. Like I could die off tomorrow. And if this set of videos, one video, whatever, helps one person, that's what matters. That might be the calling, right? And God has never left us, even when we stop praying, even when we stop praising, even when we numb out so hard that we can't feel anything. God has never left you. There is a divine design and a calling on your life. Maybe you just haven't answered the call, so you don't know. Maybe you are too stuck inside your pain to really hear what's being said. Maybe you're numbing out like I was. Sometimes God really presses on your heart, and there's a way. You just have to keep reaching. So, this is me reaching out again, choosing again, standing up, dusting myself off, sober, a little softer, a little steadier. I'm an abrasive individual. I'm a fiery girl. I got a lot to say, and I got a lot of opinions and a lot of emotions and a lot going on. And I'm a lot. I'm what you call a lot. But that in the past, that has completely derailed me. So like being a lot has just like, if I was like a train on a track, being a lot just takes me off the rail. But if I can anchor it back in, pull it back a little bit and just take a deep breath and work on my controllables and just anchor in to each day and know that my pain has a bigger purpose and that there's something bigger than me, then that sets me free. I don't want to live another year stuck in limbo. stuck in between survival and surrender. I want to live deeply and beautifully and wildly and in alignment with that divine design and that calling on my life. And that's why I chose to get sober. That's why I chose to get sober. So if you are feeling lost, you're feeling ashamed, stuck in a rut, or just like don't know what is next, like what do you even do? You're like buried under the grief. You're stuck in these old habits, you're stuck in these old patterns and these old ruts. It's not too late for you. You could be 80 years old. It is not too late for you. You can make a decision, you can make a choice, and you can make a change. Just come back to the center. Control your controllables, one step, one bite, one breath at a time. You're not alone. Other people are struggling too. And if you just get real about that and you share your struggle, you'll find that there's a community out there just waiting to hold your hand through it and share the lessons they've learned. So you can choose differently today, and I'm encouraging you to choose differently and to anchor in. Have you anchored in yet? And if you need help anchoring in, please join my group, Rise and Shine with Morning Moon, or reach out to me directly. I would love to get on a Zoom call with you and talk about how you can better build your foundation of wellness so that you can get through these emotional hardships, because it's not straightforward and it's not easy. And especially if you're a business owner, my goodness, like people who have businesses and they're walking through this grief and trauma and pain and shame, and then are expected to put that poker face on. It's exhausting. I witnessed something today where someone had at the writing center had something happen. I don't know what it was, but it was tragic, and I watched her like break down, have a cry for a moment in the back, and then she just acted like nothing, like just went back on, turned it back on. And that's what we do. That is what we do as entrepreneurs. We just turn it back on. We're all right, wipe it off, dust it off, and then it just gets compounded and it gets stuck in our bone and our body, and it just gets stuck. It's the harder road to anchor in. It is. It's not easy, but it's worth it. So choose the holy road rather than the hard road, right? Choose the way. Choose the way to be more in alignment with the calling on your life, because your life is not your own. You're the storyteller, you're not the author. Live it. You got this. You're not alone. So if you need any sort of support or assistance or just a good word, reach out to me directly. Go to my website, www.lacyjwatson.com, and you can download my Release Foundations guide, fill out the Circle of Life worksheet, and that can help you with your check-in. The daily checklist is in that workbook. You can start anchoring in today. It's free. My 20-minute discovery session is free if you just need someone to talk to. So anchor in, rise, shine, and free yourself of this bondage, because life is too short to be stuck in the grief. I'm here with you. I totally get it. And if you need to cry, cry. It's not going away. You just have to hold it. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It is Friday, and I will see you on Monday. And just anchor in and rise and shine. Have a great weekend, you guys. Ciao.